Welcome back. So I'm inside the data access layer, and here we're going to create our IUnitOfWork. So we're going to say add here, we're going to say new file, and here we're going to select empty interface. And again, it looks a bit different on the Windows machine, I know that, but now I want to show you Mac users just a bit of love, so that's why I'm doing it on the Mac. You've done it so many times, it shouldn't be a problem. IUnitOfWork. Now the unit of work compared to the iCustomer repository is actually going to be for the entire solution. So we're going to make a unit of work that actually is for the entire context. So we're going to make a unit of work for the in-memory context. So it's not going to be for each repository, it's going to be for a context. We're going to build a unit of work. So now let's try and implement our unit of work. So the unit of work should be an iCustomer repository right here. And it should be called, let's just call it customer repository. And again, I'm going to use the syntax where it's actually going to be a property. And that property is only going to have a get method. I only want people from the outside to be able to get the customer repository. They cannot set it from the outside, right? So I'm just removing the set property right here. And that's the first step for a unit of work. The second step for a unit of work is for us to actually explain when we have completed the work, right? So we're going to make something called complete here. Now we can discuss if this should be called save instead of complete, and I'm not going to yell at you if you choose that name. I've read a lot of articles where they kind of discuss if it should be called save or complete. I'm using complete because I think that's what most people talk about when they're saying it's a unit of work and now the work is complete, right? So that's kind of the idea. You're not saving it, you're doing some work and you complete the work. That's really up to you, but this is going to kind of behind the scene call our save changes when we're using the context. That's kind of the goal of that one. The last thing we need to do is, if we do not want to actually execute the work, so we want to kind of revert everything and dispose everything, then the last one we need is to make this interface idisposable like this. And that pretty much just means that when you're implementing this interface, you're forced to actually implement a dispose function as well. And in there, what we're at a minimum going to do is we're going to dispose our context when this is all done. So there we go. That's actually all it takes to put in a unit of work. And of course, as we start getting more repositories later, they'll pop up more repositories here. We'll get back to that in a later video. But for now, we have the unit of work interface ready. Next video, let's try and implement it. See you next time.